Hello, everyone. How's it going? I can see the comment section already brimming up with a lot of comments, and I see folks are still awake at 1 a.m. Please do get some rest. Global Hack Week has a lot of events for you, but yes, rest is absolutely important. So, yes, thank you so much for joining us for all of the wonderful events that we have here. But yeah, do get some rest if you need that. That was Nathan, and he was here with an incredible stream. I hear you had a lot of fun on that stream. But now we are also here for another one of our wonderful live streams, which is making your first open source contribution. I'm not sure how many of you are beginners here, so let's put that in the comment section. How many of you are making your first contribution today? If you're not making your first contribution, that's absolutely fine. We have here something for everybody, but I would love to see who's here making their first contributions to GitHub or open source in general. Wow, a lot of beginners. Awesome, wonderful. Great, love to see it. New and nervous. Don't be. Well, I was nervous at 1.2, and guess what? I still am. Making an open source contribution can sound daunting, but there are a lot of trips and tricks, sorry, tips and tricks. I don't know why I flumbled, but tips and tricks that you get to like pick up along the way, and making your first one is just a stepping stone towards a long journey ahead. And I can see a lot of you are first time contributors, so love to see it. Excited. Awesome. Let's talk about introductions real quick. My name is Sashrika, and I am a coach at Major League Hacking. And I'm not sure if you have seen me at other events, but I was in India before, and now working out of London, UK. So I became a EU coach now, and yeah, this has been an exciting past year, and I love the community because I could meet, like, I could actually do all of these live streams from here and come back here for my monthly dose, I would say now, of Global Hack Week. It's been incredible to do these live streams with you all, and I hear that you have been having a lot of fun on the other with the other events as well. So awesome. The chat room is still going on with my previous question. I believe that if you're joining us for the first time and you're a first contributor to open source, put that in the comment section. Shout out to the toothless in the background. Absolutely. You guessed it right. That's toothless in the background. So I'm actually in my roommate's bedroom. Basically, she has an entire desk setup. I don't have one myself right now, but used to borrow this her setup, to for these live stream because it's aesthetic, it's good. And she has a lovely toothless in the background that you see. How many of you all are How to Train Your Dragon fans? Put that in the comment section. Yes, toothless supremacy. Am I right? I hear that there is another one, right? So I know that this one is toothless, but there is another dragon. I'm not sure what the name of that dragon is. Put that in the comment section if you know about that. Yes, that's toothless, right? I'm sure we're gonna make like a toothless meme here. So I know you how like the hacker community is an incredible fan of memes. So yeah, go for it. If you have toothless memes, put that in Discord. Would love to see it. Oh, there's Raya the Last Dragon. Oh, I see. Now, would you all judge me if I said that I have never seen How I Met Your Dragon before? But I will watch it. I will watch it. I mean, probably tonight, mostly tomorrow, but will you all judge me? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my roommate has already judged me more times than I can count now. So yes, excited. For those of you who are joining us for the first time and have not seen me up on stream before, we use this time to like interact a little bit in the first 5 minutes. We'll get started with what we're here for, which is making your first open source contribution, and do a bunch of other stuff in this entire stream. We'll have a lot of fun for the next couple of hours. And we hope to learn something amazing, but we also like to chat a bit and catch up on life. So tell me, what's been happening, friends? What's going around? How's GHW going? How's Global Hack Week for you? How are the other events? And what are you doing? What are your plans for this week? Okay, I think we have a question here. So yeah, what's the coolest thing in London? I would have to say the coolest thing in London is still I think the city events for me. I love those. There's always something or the other happening in London, and I am absolutely and totally here for it. Big Ben, yeah, I mean that's very mainstream, but yes, Big Ben. Curl up and sleep. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, don't worry. We'll let you know what the drill is. There's the first thing, first and foremost thing we do whenever we join a stream. And can someone tell me what that is in the comment section? I've already given you a hint before the start of the stream, before the countdown. But what is it that we do as soon as we join a stream? A live stream, an event? No, no one? Oh, greetings, yes, of course. That's the polite way of going about it. Yes, yes, we greet everyone. But there is an important thing that you all are forgetting, which is, let me see if somebody posted it. Check in, absolutely. Yes. So we have some old timers here who already know the drill. We do check into these wonderful events to basically earn some bragging points, and at the end of the week we actually know that there are so many things that we have done, so many events that we participated in. So let's check in, let's do it first real quick, and then we'll chat more and we'll talk about what we want to do here. So there's a ticker at the bottom of the screen that you can see, which has the hack pack link for you. I'll also post that in the comment section, don't worry about it. hackp.ac/make your first contribution. There you go. Oh, I accidentally missed a dot. Let me put that in again. .ac/make your first contribution. There you go. There you go. Okay, so let me just put this permanently on the screen so that you have that there. All right, awesome, awesome. The link is there in the comment section. Let's do this together. I'm also here to do it at the same time. I think I might need to log in real quick, but I can do that. And I'm going to share my screen so that you all can join us as well. All right, let's see. Okay, so as soon as you click on this link that I shared, this is the screen that you'll be able to see right here on this side. Oh, I did it right. Awesome. Yes, this side of the screen, you can see that you have a wonderful, wonderful event already set up for you. So okay, yeah, no worries. Absolutely, Audrey. And of course, let me know if there's anything else that I can help you with. It's up on the screen. The link is there. So just click on the link. And as you can see, you can go to Open Source Week, making your first contribution. And you see this blue button right here. What you need to do is just click on this button, register yourself, and check into the event. As soon as it turns green, voila, you checked in. So that's as simple as it is. And yeah, hi everyone. Just get a cup of coffee, relax. We are gonna have such an entertaining session in the next 2 hours, and we'll make our own contribution as well. We will learn something amazing, but the first step is out of the way. We have checked in. If you've not already done this and you're joining us right now, the link is up on the screen that you can check in at hackp.ac/make your first contribution. Awesome, love it, super cool, great. Okay, let me just get back to StreamYard. Awesome. Great. All right, everyone. So great. I can see that all of you have already settled in, and we are 10 minutes into the session. So now I think it's a good time to get started and discuss what we're gonna do here. Right? I know you all carved a lot of time from your schedule here to be here today. So let's just dive right in. What are we gonna do here? As the title suggests, we will make your first contribution to open source if you haven't done that already. If you haven't been up on the open source wagon, this is your session to get started with it. And I know you all are super excited, and all of you, a lot of you are beginners doing it for the first time, whether you're a beginner at Global Hack Week or whether you're a beginner at open source in general. There's something here for everyone. So we will discuss some of the basic concepts just so that everyone is up to speed. We'll talk about what is Git. We'll download and set up Git on your systems. Of course, we'll do this while we talk and interact about a bunch of other things, because these sort of things can happen in the background. So I'll tell you about the steps. We can do them together. But what I want you to do is make sure you set up your screen in a way that you can hear me. You can hear when I talk. If you have questions, feel free to post them in the comment section. I have my screen right here, so I'll browse through the comment sections, and interact with you along the way. If you have questions, I'll try and answer them as we go. If I miss your question, don't worry about it. We'll get back to them again at the end of the session too. So yes, we have plenty of time and we have our work cut out for us. So let's get started. We'll talk about what's Git. We'll talk about what's GitHub. I'll also try and give you an overview of what GitHub, like general features around GitHub is, how to navigate that. So if it's something which, is totally new to you, I know that it can be overwhelming, but don't worry. Me, like, I'm here just to help you out. So yes, your friendly neighborhood, I don't know, friendo I'm here to just help you out, get settled, and just guide you through this entire thing. So I know it might feel daunting, but don't worry, we're here to do it together, and we will do it together at the end of this session. So as I said, we'll talk about Git, we'll talk about GitHub, I'll give you like a quick overview, and then I have something very special planned, like a small activity planned for this session, so that it's easier for you and it's not as daunting. We will make our first contribution. I have a repo set up that I will share with you, and then we can make a contribution together, and I can actually submit your first PR. So it's not going to be just you raising a request to submit the code, and we'll talk about what these terms mean. If you don't know what they are, don't worry about it. But yeah, it'll not be just you submitting your code for the first time, but it will also be you actually, like, it will not be you just raising a request, it'll be your actual code would be there up on GitHub. So that's what we're going to do here. Excited? Everyone, put that in the comment section if you're excited. Get some hype in the comment section going, and we'll get started. As I said, we have a lot of work to do, but don't worry, we'll get to it one by one. Yes, let's go. Woot. Awesome. Love it. Love to see the energy. And please keep this energy going. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have anything that you'd like to share, the comment section is always open. Feel free to post a message and I'll have a look. I promise. Awesome. Love it. Love it. All right. So, uh, let's start with Git first. But before I do that, I want to know how many of you all are absolute beginners. Like, you have like, you don't know about Git, you don't know about GitHub, just to get an understanding, and then I can talk more about this. Of course, if you have questions, if you have concerns, post them in and we'll continue talking about it. But if you know about GitHub, or if you know about Git, post that in. I'll just like get an idea. And as we know that these live streams are absolutely interactive, so if you share with me like some of the issues that you're facing, I'll absolutely help you out up here. You only know the terms, don't worry. Okay, we will cover that. People know about GitHub and GitHub. Awesome, love it. Cool. So give me a thumbs up if you already know about it, and a thumbs down if you are just like heard the terms but you're absolutely new to it. Basic understanding, yes. Familiar, great. Awesome. I can already see the comment section filling with comments. Great, thumbs up, which means that you or have you've done some PRs. Issues more getting a project to run. I understand it can always be hectic. So from what I see, a lot of people are already familiar with the concept, which is great because you already are a few steps ahead. So you know what these terms mean. You know what, like, the word, there are words popping around, there are trendy terms going around that you're aware of, and so you're familiar. Great. But in case you aren't, Git is basically Git is a version control system for us. Like, how do I put this in simple words? So let's see. So Git is basically an open source platform where the source code, like let's say whatever code that I'm writing, is made freely available so that anyone can modify it. Now that sounds scary. Let me give you an example. Now let's say that I decided that I need like a dashboard where hackers can go ahead and post their projects that they work on, like sort of like an Instagram or Facebook, like a social media for hacker projects, right? So I want to build that, but I am totally new to this, so I don't have much idea on how to go about it. So what I do is that I like create a project, and then I just know, like, whatever I know of, whatever I can find, whatever I can do by myself, I do that, and then I open source it, like make it freely available for everyone to see. Now anyone can come up, modify that code, and then submit a request to me that, hey, this is additional feature that I think would look best on your app and would work really well with the features that you already have. And what I can do is I can go ahead, review those changes, and see if that's something that I would want in my app, and then accept those changes. And so now if you do realize, now think of this at a bigger scale. Now across the world there are so many developers who are working on building their skills, who just like to contribute to open source, who do this for a hobby. Like there are various reasons that people contribute to open source, but mostly you can find a lot of these developers to actually help you out. And so it's made freely available, as I said, for anyone to modify. And these projects are built collectively, like by different developers across the world. So like you can actually be ad hoc with your changes, right? Anyone from across the world can work at any time, and then help you out. You can help someone else out. And so basically what Git does is helps you track all of those changes via this control system. So there's a distributed version control system that I talked about, and it can help you track all of these changes on what's happening in your code at what time. So you can track different versions, you can go back and forth in one version or the other, and then you can access your code files, uh, you know online. So it's as simple as that. And I know I put it in really simple terms, but you can go deep, you can learn more about it. But yeah, basically, to give you an idea, it will help you track all of those changes and help you build your projects and help you work on other projects as well. So, with that being said, let's go on and do our first step. So, how many of you don't have Git set up on your systems? And if you can't find like emojis or anything, just put that as a comment. Don't worry about it. Just let me know that you like, just say like, okay, I need to set up Git, and post that in the comment section. If you already have that, just let me know. Say that, yeah, I have Git set up. Just a quick message would do fine, so that I know where everybody is at. But if you are setting it up for the first time, this is the amazing docs that we have from GitHub, and I'll share that in the comment section as well. So these docs have like a link and some instructions on how you can set up Git. While we're talking about GitHub, while we're talking about other things, this is something. Oh, that's weird. It actually didn't let me share that link. All right, let me try it again. Oh, awesome. All right, you have that link. So yes, if you don't have Git set up, don't worry. I posted a link. You can click on that link and then set it up in the background. It's very simple. You can just follow the steps on this guide, and you can set up Git yourself on your local machines. If you're facing any issues, please post them in the comment section so that we can help you out. Again, this is a wonderful, wonderful community that would love to help you out. So even after this session, let's say you're facing issues, post them in Discord and feel free to reach out to us. Awesome. Lovely. So yes, you can just you can set up Git if you haven't already, but as I can see, most people already have it set up. So I'm going to talk about the next thing that we have here is which is GitHub. But before that, if you, let's say, are somewhere in the middle where you're not sure if you have Git installed, what you can do is you can use this command, which is git dash dash version, and run it on your terminal. I posted that in the comment section as well. You can run this command on your terminal and check if it returns a version. Then of course Git is installed, set up, all good. If it's not, it does not return, or it says like Git not found, like command not found, something like that, then you need to set up Git yourself. And then that's where the links that I shared earlier come in handy. So just go ahead, click on those links, and then set up your Git. And then that's how we can make your first contribution, right? So I know that these are some of the prerequisites for the session, but don't worry, if you're facing issues, we'll do them, like we'll help you out within the session itself. Awesome. So another thing that you can do if you're a Mac user like me, you can download Homebrew or like a GitHub CLI, which can help you update these Git versions, manage things easily, and help authenticate your profile if you haven't done that already. But that's not a requirement, of course. Just feel free to like take it as a tip, because I use it a lot, so that's why I recommend. All right, it returned Git version. Yes, awesome, great, cool. Okay, awesome. Moving on. So now let's talk about GitHub real quick. So GitHub is different from Git. Would you believe me? So GitHub is like a web-based repository. I think of it as you hosting your project online on a server, and this GitHub would be like a platform where you can like host your project, and so that people can build together. And then this provider would actually help you contribute to like other open source projects as well, and then share your own files. So if you're using GitHub, there's Git beneath the hood, but GitHub would be like a web platform where you can host this stuff. So that is me putting it in simple terms. We can always go deep and we talk more about it, but let me like give you a quick overview of some of the things you can see on GitHub. if you So if you don't already have a profile, while I'm talking about all of this and giving you an overview, this is your time to create your GitHub profile. There are other providers as well. Don't take me wrong, but GitHub is the thing that we're going to use today. So if you already don't have an account, feel free to just create one. So, and meanwhile, I'll just share my screen, give you a quick overview. So if you're new to this, all of this might seem like really overwhelming. And I get that. When I came to GitHub for the first time, I was like, whoa, I have no idea how to navigate this entire thing. And I have no idea like how to get started. Like, how do I find a project? How do I contribute to the right one? How do I know if it's a beginner friendly, bug? Like I barely know how to code. How can I fix some big thing in a big project, right? And so this is your first platform to start. So there are a lot of things that you see here, that your homepage, your like notifications, your repositories, etc. You can search for things and all of that stuff. But let's talk about your profile, because that's the main thing that you'll see. So that was the dashboard, but you also have your own GitHub profile. And with your GitHub profile, you can see some of your projects. So if you go to repositories, you can, like, if you host your projects, this is where you'll find them. You can always see some of the work that you've already done, their packages, stars, and lots of other things. But let me just quickly open up a project, and then I'll give you an overview of what the project would look like. Now think of it as this. So these are all of your files, let's say you have in your project with a README, and that README would give you like a lot of information. And if there's some other project that you're looking at, it would also give you the same information. So there are a lot of information on how to set up this project, how to get started, how to contribute, what are the languages, a bunch of other things. And then there you can also see something called master here, which is something called a branch. If you don't know what a branch is, post that in the comment section. We'll discuss what branching is. I'll give you like a quick overview of branching as well later on in the session. But basically, right now we are at the main version of the code. So this is where all of your code exists, and you can see some of the pull requests bars, some of the commits that are already made to make this project what it is today. And so commits are basically like snapshots. So different, like if you keep on improving your code, you keep on making a commit to just include some features to the best stable version, moving on to the next one. That's how we just move around it. Awesome. So with that being said, let me just get on to some hands-on work so that you have enough time to ask questions also if you have any. This was like a quick overview. I know it was not much, but I just wanted to give you enough time to download and install Git as well, if you like, if you already don't have that, and create your GitHub account. So what are we going to do today? Awesome. So what I have here for you is actually a project. Believe you me, I have created a very small, a very simple project. Let me show you that. So this is much like simpler, the one that I'm going to share here. So there you go. This is much simpler. So this project is very, very simple. As you can see, there is nothing much in the project. There is only a README file, and there are only like 3 commits that I created. So that they're like initial commits. And so what you can see here in the README file is that I have a heading which says Global Hack Week. I can actually edit that instead of GHW and call it Global Hack Week. But moving on. So, hey folks, welcome to my project. This is the project that I've hosted on my profile. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to make a contribution to this project and help me improve it. So as soon as you make a contribution here, I will submit your requests live so that you can actually see it populate alongside the session. Sounds cool, right? Awesome. Put that in the comment section if you are still awake. Awesome. Look alive, friends. We have a lot of work to do. So if you are absolutely excited about making your first contribution, put that in the comment section so that I can actually see your messages as well. So yes, what we're going to do is we'll celebrate this week-long hacker festival by adding your name and then basically putting your code up online, which says that, hey, yes, I have made my first contribution. Your name is going to be here. Let's get it done. Awesome. You can use your name. You can use you can use your name to just make your first contribution here. So it's going to be very easy. The instructions are up there online. Yes, we will. I'll post the repo link. Give me 1 second. What I'll also do is I will post it in the form of a banner as well, so it's available. Okay, awesome. I can see that you all are really, really excited for this. I am too. Okay, so this is the link, and I'll also post that repo link here. So you can have a look, browse around, see, and then I'm going to show you how you can make your first contribution, which is going to be like very simple, easy steps, which you can follow along with me. So don't worry about that. But you can, like, I'll give you a few seconds to just browse around the project and see, and I'm going to browse around with you as well. Let's see what I have done with this project. So as you can see, we have 3 commits, which means that there are 3 different versions of code. So here is the initial commit, and this commit I just modified like a few files, so you can see that those files and those changes are there. So if you see, when you open like a commit, or if you actually like look at different projects as well, and you see come across this, so just to, it's not that overwhelming. So a comment would be like, you adding a feature to the code. So let's say you have one particular project which is working at a stable version, and then you decide that, hey, this is another feature that I want to add on top of it, which would be like in form of comment. So a commit would be just adding that snapshot to your code and then merging it with your code so that your code moves on to the next stable version. Does that make sense, everyone? Let me know if you need like more clarification. I know I'm just talking a lot right now, but if you have questions, let me know, and then I'm going to go across, you know talk about all of this later on as well if you have more questions. Cool. So yes, you can see the changes that they have here. You can see like if there were any comments here, just to figure out if like there were any code changes. You can see the additions. You can see some of the pull requests made, etc., and all of those stuff. So a lot of things that are happening here. Coming back to the code, there are 3 different commits, and what we do is we'll just build upon that. Now let's talk about how you can get started with this project. So if you are, can I could you elaborate, Akash, can you ask your question again? Like, what do you want me to elaborate more on? I can surely do that, but please be a little more specific here. Should I clone it now? Yes, of course. If you know the steps already, feel free to continue with it, but I would appreciate like if you can follow along here. If you have any like doubts, if there's any confusion in between, we can solve along as we go. Good. What programming language am I using? What a programming language am I using? So I generally code in Java, but here today we are not using any programming language. We are here to make our first contribution. So in order to make it beginner friendly, we want no barriers at all. So if you don't know how to code, don't worry. This is just plain editing a README file. But yes, you can make code contributions together in the future as well. Cool. Awesome. All right. Moving on. Commit, can I elaborate on that? All right, let's elaborate on commits in general. Hold on. All right, so if folks, if you've not already downloaded or installed Git or created a GitHub account, do so right now. And meanwhile, let me quickly talk about Git branchings and Git commit with you all. Okay, so I have this wonderful tool that I found online when I was learning more about Git. Let me see. Can you all see my screen? Is it like large enough? Do you want me to increase the size? Put that in the comment section if you want me to increase the size so that I can adjust it accordingly. And if it's all good, let me know if it's good. Awesome. Cool. So let's talk about commits. So let's see if you can see your code is somewhere where like your code is, let's say C1. C1 here, increase size. All right, will do. Okay, coming back here. All right, can you see it? All good now? Cannot directly contribute on GitHub without using Git. So you can actually edit files directly on GitHub, but of course, if you want to like work with bigger projects, if you want to upload your files, if you want to contribute in the sense that you want to use the command line and some like make changes to your local system and then push it on GitHub, then yes, Git is like a tool that you use. Cool, awesome, better, perfect. All right, let me know if you want me to adjust anything else, but I'm going to talk about commits now. So this main that you see here up on your screen with the star pointer in front of it. So what this means is that this is your main branch. What it means is that your main code, the entire code that you have lies on this main. And we'll talk about branches a little further, so don't worry about it. But main is where your code exists. And the star pointer is what we call head. So Right now, the main head is pointing towards C1, which means that whatever version of code is in C1, that's the source of truth. So let's say you come up and you say that, hey, Sashrika, I want now C1 here is a hacker portal where I only have, let's say, I only have like a background. I have a background color. That's all I have. I have nothing in my app right now. The only thing that I have at C1 is a background color. What I want to do is add a button. So I added a button, and what I did is, hey Sashrika, can you add this button for me? And so what I did is I made a comment. And as soon as I made a comment, now my version of code shifted from C1 to C2. Now my app has a background color and a button. Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Great. Yes. Perfect. So now another thing that I want to point out here is that the pointer that shifted was main. So let's say you're building a bigger feature. You don't want to change the main branch. You want the main code to stay as it is. You want the world to see like a blank screen and you want the world to see a button. That's all. But what you're working on secretly behind the scenes and you're going to release it soon is, let's say, uh, a, a card which has all the information about a different project that you're working on. So this would be like a social media portal. So there is a button to post. The button is there. The background screen is there. What we want is next to send out that card. So what we want to do is we want to make another commit. But this time, because we're working on a bigger feature, this is not just like a simple small thing that we can release. We create a branch. We branch out from our main tree. So let's say we do, oh, sorry, I used HD. Forget that. It's git commit. But yeah, basically, um, yeah. So we created a commit. Now, next thing that we have is branching, right? So if you want to check out, and let's say our new branch is new branch. Create that new branch for us, please. And so what it does, it creates the new branch now. Now that you can see, the star pointer is not at main, it's at new branch, which means that from now on, whatever code we push on uh, our system, basically our repository here, but we'll just call it system. Whatever code we push, that code would be in new branch. Now, let me show you that. So if I do another git commit, then it's just gonna create a new branch. And let's say I create another commit, which is in the new branch as well. So as you can see, now you might be wondering like what's happening? It's in the same line. No, if you can see, new branch is being pushed further. Main is still at C2. So the world still sees the C2 version. What you see is the new branch. Like what you are working on is the new branch. Now let's say somebody across the world, who have, like let's say uh Gertrude Ika. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but let's say you come up and you say, hey, I see this wonderful project. I also want to contribute to it. So what I want to do is have it added. So like what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out main. So now my star pointer shifts to main, which means my head is at main. And what I do is I make another commit. So my main actually shifted. My main is not the same. And my new branch work is already complete. So what I want to do eventually is merge those codes together and have one single source of truth, right? So I'm just going to do a git merge and merge my new branch to main. So I just merge it together, and if anything is committed after that, then it travels on the main. So what you can see here is we branched out, worked on a different feature, and came back to the main branch. Merged our code again to the main branch. Does that make sense, everyone? Do you get branching now? Do you understand how this is working? Don't worry about the commands. We'll work on it together. But what I wanted you to understand was the concept. Cool. Awesome. Yes. Post it in. Um, Awesome. Great. Post it in if you already get that. If you have questions, post those in too. But yes, if you get it, then absolutely incredible. This worked out well. I'll come back to the screen. Awesome. All right. I see a lot of comments on checking the PR. Folks, please hold on. We'll move on across. We just want everyone to be on the same page. So at the end of the session, I'll check the PRs and I'll add those in. So don't worry. But I am glad that you understood about branching. So now you are way ahead. You know about Git, you know about GitHub, you know about branching, you know about certain commands that you could use. It's time to make your first contribution. A lot of theory, I know, but now is the time to make your first contribution. So let me share my screen with you. And what I have here is, so I just divided my screen into two parts. On the first side, I have my code, that same README file. It's nothing different. I just opened it in Visual Studio. You can open it in your editor of choice, absolutely your call. But yeah, you have your README file here and you have your contribution, like a GitHub contribution you can make here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how you can make your GitHub contribution. So before you make a GitHub contribution or before we edit this code, how to get up until this point where I'm at. Let's talk about that. And in order to do that, what I want to do first is open GitHub and then show you how you can do that. All right. So, there you go. Share my screen and add it to stage. All right. So what you can see here is the GitHub project, right? This is the place where we left at when we went to discuss about branching and other stuff and other theoretical stuff. But what we want to do here is, you see this button called fork. I want you all to click on this fork button first. I can already see 4 of you have already done it, which is incredible. Kudos to you, friends. But what I want you to do is click on this button fork and then create a copy of this code, like copy of this entire project in your own profile. So why are we doing this? Now, right now we have a small project, but let's say like you have a huge project, or even for this one, this is the code that I wrote. This is the code that I have. This is my project, right? What you want to do is any changes that you want to make should be on your own project, right? So forking it basically means creating a copy of this version into your own account so that that's where you clone it from and that's where you work on that project yourself. And if there's any changes, you can make those changes all together, push it up, and then send me a request to add that to my code, right? So it's entire thing, and it's what we call it's basically the good practices of contributing to open source. So you fork the repository, which creates a copy into your own account. And as soon as you click on fork, I can actually give you an example. So if you see this project here on my screen, which is called Stardroid, it says forked from SkyMap team Stardroid. So if you go here, this is the actual project. And so what I did was when I clicked fork, it created a copy for me just like this. That's what I want you to do. I want you to fork my project, and I want you to create a copy of that project for yourself. First contribution, and that would be in your profile. So just this button that you need to click. And as soon as you click this button and you have a copy of this code in your account, there's this button called like a green button code where you can copy the HTTPS link. There are also some other options like opening with GitHub Desktop, the GitHub CLI option where you can clone it. So you can choose whatever option you like, but what I want you to do is run git clone and then paste this HTTPS URL. So you'll copy this, and the command that you'll run is, and let me post that command as well, git clone and then paste this command. Remember, the HTTPS command should be from your account. So it would say something like github.com/your username and then / the name of the project. So git clone is the command that I want you to use. All right. What we're doing with clone is we are actually cloning, like using this command to clone that entire project into our local machines. So right now that project is hosted up on GitHub. What we want is that the project to be on our systems. A question, are we cloning the forked version? Yes. So the forked version here means your project, right? As soon as you fork the project, you create a copy of this project for in your own account. And now that's something that is your, like, that where you can contribute. It's your project where you can send out comments. So yes, you clone the forked version, which would be github.com/ your username and then the entire version. Cool. Awesome. Great. Okay, awesome, great, cool. Where do we use the git clone command? Good question. You open your terminal. So if I'm not sure if you can see my screen. Oh, okay, no. I'll share my screen and I'll show you again. But basically, what I want you to do is open your terminal and then just navigate to any folder that you want to clone this project to. Like what it'll do is create a folder, a directory, and then put all of your like the project files in. So terminal, yes, just run this command git clone and with the https link. So as soon as you do that, it'll just download all of the files and have create a copy directory in your Windows. Command prompt is Windows. For Windows, git bash. Yeah, whatever you prefer. Like if you prefer git bash, that's absolutely great. Cool, awesome. And of course, if you have like folks, if you have any questions, anything that you have like doubts on, anything that you want to have like questions, just post that in. As you can see, we have a lovely community of hackers posting there in the comment sections, and kudos to you friends for helping me out here. So if you have questions, post those in. If I don't get it but in time, there's surely a lot of people in the comment section that can help you out. Great, awesome, lovely. Okay, so what can we do next? Let me see. All right, so now you have your folder command, you have your code with you, and what I want you to do is open this code in any text editor of your choice. For me, I'll choose Visual Studio. You can choose anything that you like. So let me bring up that screen as well, and then I can show you how you can make your contributions. Cool. There you go. All right, cool, awesome. So yes, the link is up on screen. So if you've tuned in right now, don't worry, just go to this link, click on fork repository, and then clone the project. And now that you have your project open here in GitHub, what we'll do is we'll just add our username here and make our first contribution. So I'm just going to add mine. So let's say what I want to do is, now that I have the project with me, this is my version of the project, and I make changes to it. So I'm just going to save this project. As you can see that this, now I've modified this README file. All right. But before I do that, before I modify and make changes to this file, another thing that I want you to see is a few commands, a few quick Git commands that I want you to see. All right, so let's see. So on the right side of the screen, you can see that I have my terminal open, and on the left side, I have my project. So if I do a git status right now, it would say something like, you're on the branch master, your working tree is up to date, etc., etc., blah, blah, blah. A lot of things, right? But there's nothing to commit the working trees clean, because any changes that I made, I got rid of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add Sashrika core to this list, and that's what that's the entire thing that we're going to do, right? But yes, absolutely right. We will be making a branch. We will not be posting this project on we'll not be making any comments on the main master branch. So that's why like I got rid of the code. Again, I can also teach you how to switch branches and everything, but basically I wanted to show you the git status, which says that the working tree is clean. And if I make any changes, it won't say that. Git status will tell you the status of the project. Is the project at the same place as the main branch, or if it's changed, if there are any changes made to it, etc. Okay, awesome. All right, yes. So if you've not already done that, just change directories to to your project. Right now, my project is in GHW, which is my directory is GHW in the terminal, which is basically my own my folder where I have my project stored. So whatever your folder is, just use cd, which is change directory, and just switch that in your terminal. And then after that, we'll do all of these steps. So I'll give you a few seconds, move just change your version, like have your thing set up, and now we'll make a contribution. Awesome. Yes. Next step. Great. Cool. So now we're absolutely right. We'll create a new branch here. So how you do that is you use the command git checkout -p and then create a new branch. Same way as I thought. Now, what did I write here? So the checkout is actually checking out a different branch, but -b, that flag, actually creates that new branch if it's not already there. You can always do git branch new branch and then git checkout new branch if you want. It's just 2 steps and it does the same thing, but I did that in 1 step. So I'm just going to post that in for you all to use. What we want to do is git checkout -b /new branch. Yes, this is what we'll do. And as you can see, it says that it's switched to a new branch now. which is our new branch, the branch that we created. Now, new branch, again, it's not a good name. You can be creative. You can actually name this whatever your feature does. So you can say like add contributors or whatever you like want to name it. But basically, be very particular. If when you're working in open source, if you have a certain feature, think of this as naming your feature. So just name your feature, and that's where the branch you'll be working on. So now we are at new branch, right? At new branch, we will make changes to our code. So let's do that. We will add the name to the readme. Now the actual change that we were trying to make, so I'm just going to say Sashrika core. And what you'll do is you'll just add all of your names down here, like in the form of a list. So if you've already done, like if you, what we'll do is just keep adding these names to the list, and we'll create a list of all the people who contributed to this project. Lovely, right? Okay, so now we are in new branch. Made the changes to whatever changes to the code we wanted to make. So if you're doing this in, like, let's say a different project, any code changes that you wanted to make, you made those, you saved your file, and now if we come back here and do a git status on our terminal, what will show you, it show that the readme file is modified, right? And it also says that there's no changes added to commit, which means that this file is not tracked yet, which means that any changes you made is still on your local. What we want to do is tell Git that, hey Git, please track this file for all the changes that it has made, because if this is something that I want to push to the project. Cool? Awesome. Any questions? Friends, look alive. Any questions? Do you have any concerns, questions, anything that you're stuck on? Font size, of course. So I believe you're talking about the terminal. So I'm just going to increase the font size for the terminal. Let me know if you want me to increase the font size for other projects. Cool? All right. How does it look, Kitty? Now, there is a good question by Mr. IECSK. Won't all of these PRs cause a lot of confusion? With merge conflicts, everyone editing the same README. That's true. And that will create a lot of merge conflicts, but that's where we'll talk about resolving merge conflicts later. Cool? But that's something which can be resolved later on. It'll not be a lot of issues. Yes, we'll just keep on adding our names here. And then if there are merge conflicts, what I'll teach you is to pull the code, pull the main version of code, and then submit your feature branch. That's why we are talking about branches, right? You create your own new branch, and what you're trying to do is when you merge your code into the main branch of the code, you are actually giving your version to the main branch. Now, your version also needs to be up to date to the main branch. So what we'll do is a git pull from the main version, which means that, hey, just update the main branch as much as you can, and then push the code back in. Sounds good. This is actually a really good example to show you how in bigger projects, in projects that there are developers working from across the world, how you can manage and track changes and then keep up to date. All of them would be working on the project at the same time, and it's very difficult, of course, to manage that if it's just one version of the code. That's why we branch out, create our version, and then submit whenever it's ready. Sounds good? Okay, awesome. Yes, so now the next step is to add this file. So we'll do a git add dot, which means that add all the files that have the changes tracked. We know that the file that we have here is readme.md. We can also type the name of the file here, but what I'm doing is just git add dot, which means that any changes that you have, just track those. Cool? Awesome. Yes. And now what we'll do next is we'll create a commit. So we will commit the project -m, and then let's just say add like my name to readme. Just very simple. So what two commands that I wrote here, I'm just going to put that in the comment section as well. Git add dot is the first one. So you do a git add dot, just add all the files. And the second thing is git add commit -m and just add my name to readme. Okay, I posted both these comments in the comment section. So if you are following along with me, just use this and it'll help you create a commit. So the add version helps tracks the file, and commit version actually creates a snapshot and then commits our code here. But this code is still on our local machines. It's not actually pushed online to the GitHub repository. In order to do that, what we'll do is next is something called git push, which means that, hey, Git, just push the code to the remote repository that we have on GitHub, right? So your GitHub, your Git, at this point, your Git, your GitHub, and your like GitHub authentication and everything is already settled. If it's not at this point, it'll ask you to like add your passwords in, authenticate your profile. So you can do that stuff on like on your own. If you have questions, put that in. Great, awesome. Oh, okay. Oh, my project is private. Did it? Oh, I accidentally did not make it not private. Hold on, let me fix that for you. Um. Oh, it says it's public. Let me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it says public. I can double check for you if you want, if there's any settings or anything else that I need to fix. Cool. All right, I'm glad to see that you're learning, George. If there are any questions, please feel free to post those in. Um, moving on. Let's see. So yeah, now we already have the yes, we already have our comments. We already have created our changes. What we want to do is we want to push these changes up to GitHub. So we'll do a git push origin and my like the branch that we have here. So we created a new branch. So now, what does this mean? Let's break it down a little, right? So we talked about what git push means. Let's talk about origin and master. So now, before we do that, let me show you something, which is remote -v. So I'm going to type a command which is git remote -v, which basically will show you what origin means here. So origin here is actually the link of the GitHub repository where we want to push it. In my case, it's Sashrika, like it's the actual repository where we're pushing our code. In your case, it would be your username. My repository for you would be upstream, like the owner of the actual file, and then it would be your version or your copy, which would be the origin. Does that make sense? Let me know if you have questions and if you want me to repeat. But yeah, basically what we want is we want to push to origin, and what we want to push? We want to push the new branch that we created. Sounds good? Okay, repeat. Awesome. I will. Yes, of course I'll repeat that. So let me show you this part again. I know that it is not like color coded or something, so it might be difficult to read. But as soon as I write git remote -v, what you see here is origin. So we see the origin links. For me, these origin link points towards Sashrika core GHW first contributions Git, which is the project that we are trying to contribute to. That's my origin. For you, if you do a git remote v, what your origin would be is your forked profile. So your forked project that you have is what the link would be here. Origin would be your project. Now, for you, the actual original project, which is the project that I created, would be upstream. So there's upstream, that's the main project where you copied from. Then your forked version is the origin project, and that's your local version, and that's where you're trying to push it from. Does that make sense? Got it? Yes. Somebody already posted it in the chat as well. So it's git push origin new branch. This new branch would be whatever branch name you created. When we did git checkout -b and then added new branch, whatever name you gave to your branch, you have to add that. So as soon as you do that, your pull request is created for new branch on GitHub. So let's do that. Let's actually go to GitHub and see what we have. So I'm just going to refresh this real quick. Okay, so we have oh, okay, yeah. So I already have a new branch pull request created. So let's see. Welcome to my project. This is it. Let me see. Hold on, let me try refreshing this part. Okay, cool. Let me refresh my screen again. All right, new branch and new branch. All right, so let me. Great, awesome. All right, so basically, what we were on master, where we don't have Sashrika core mentioned anywhere as of now. And then we have new branch. A new branch has Sashrika core. So what we'll do is we'll merge our new branch to our main. That's what I'm going to do. But for you, this would not be the same. As soon as you put that in, there would be a button for you to actually merge your new branch to your main. Right? That is what creating a PR means. Uh, okay, there's a lot of questions about PR. So let's talk about what PR is. And I can see already there are 13 PRs that are being created here. So that's what we're going to look into now. There are a lot of PRs that are created. As you can see, a lot of people have already added their names here, right? So there's a new branch. Let's see this, which basically there's no description provided, but there are two comments to it, which means that they have merged it. And if you can see, what they did was just add their name to the commit, which is actually what we want. So I can actually either write a comment, etc. But what PR here means is that they want, like for example, let's take this example. Murada, what they want is their new branch to be merged to Sashrika's new branch. Correct? That's where the PR was raised. So their new branch to be converged to my new branch. But what I'm gonna do is one commit ahead of master. Yeah, what I'm going to do is, for me, I'm just going to merge it for me. But yes, what you need to do is the same thing. There would be a button here to create, like, to compare and merge pull requests, and that's where you can create this PR. So let me actually do that for you. Let's see if I can create a scenario where I can. Great, awesome. Let me first merge my code so that I have it with you. Okay, so what I did here right now, so as I said before, what I did here right, oh sorry, the screen was not shared. So let me just reiterate this. What I did here right now is just I checked out my master, I merged my new branch, and then I pushed my master branch again back to the main version. So what it did was, for you, if you go to master, you should be able to see my name here. Now that's for me. I'm the owner of the project. Now another thing that I'm going to do here is I'm just going to delete these branches later on. But yeah, for now, let's see what PRs would mean. I can see that already you've created 30 PRs, which is great. So you are able to just push the code, right? Okay. Do you have to raise a PR from my master branch to your? Yes, exactly. That's what we need to do. You have to raise a PR from your master version to my master version, or in this case, like like some people I see are raising it from new branch to the other version. You can do that as well. But yeah, I can submit it for you. But yeah, basically that's it. As soon as you do a git push origin and the name of your branch, it actually pushes your branch to your version of code, and then you can create a pull request. There would be a button on GitHub just here where you can create a version of pull request. If it's your own project, you can do something like what I did, which is check out the main, merge your branch that I showed you earlier, and then push it back to your origin. Okay, cool. How to get this recording, because I missed a lot? Don't worry, the session would be there after, like, even after this ends, so you will get the recording. There is a conflict, of course, yes. Now that's what we're going to do next. We're going to resolve some of these conflicts. So what I want you to do is, before you do a git push, or like even if you've done a git push and there are like conflicts that you see, do a git pull before. You pull from either upstream, in your case, or you can also pull from the origin, and then you can do like a fetch stream. There would be a button here to fetch that project for you. I can actually show you that button here in this project, I think. Let me show you. Started. Okay, so there is a button here which says sync fork. There can also be a button which says like uh, fetch upstream or whatever it says. Basically what it's asking you to do is update the branch. So if the branch is not already updated, first update it, and then you can resolve those conflicts. So every time, this is where I want to teach you something which is called, just like, make sure your project is up to date when you're submitting things. So if you uh, put, like, do a git pull, which basically means that all of your projects are synced to the latest version of the code, then you submit your branch, like then you submit your code, then it would be like on the latest version of code, and then it would won't might not create merge conflicts, but the merge conflicts can always arise. And so the way to resolve those is just do a git pull, resolve any like things that you see, and then push it back again. Very simple, easy peasy. Okay. Yes, I'm just gonna put in a git pull if for folks who are asking in the comment section. Great. Awesome, awesome. Okay, now is the point in our session where we will do a little bit of like, basically what we'll do is just we'll help you out in reaching at the same version as everyone. So I want to be like, I see that there are 30 pull requests, and I'm gonna check on those one by one. But what I want you to do is make sure that your version of the code is the correct version of the code. So do a git pull, and then try resolving those merge conflicts, and then pushing your code back up again. Now, as you can see, I couldn't do that because I had, like, I couldn't do that because it was my project, so it had, like, did not have any git like any merge conflicts. But what if I merge, let's say, one pull request out of these, amongst these, and then I try to edit it again, it might give me some merge conflicts. If Okay, there is a question. Please merge the PRs that don't have conflicts. Yes, yes, we will do that. Hold on. I pull my main and show, or I pull my main or your main. So you want to pull my main because my main would have the changes first. So that's what I'm trying to. Oh, sorry. Did I disconnect? Can you see me back again? Stream froze. I'm back. All good? Yes, awesome. Sorry about that. Quick square, but everything's fine. Some technical difficulties, I think, with my laptop, but all good now. I'm going to share my screen again. But yes, basically, I was trying to answer a question, which means, like, somebody asked if they should pull version of their own, like if they should do a git pull from their own version or from my version. Yes, so you want to do a git pull from the upstream, from my version. Either you can do a git pull upstream from my version, or what you can do is you can sync your project on GitHub, the button that I showed you, and I can actually share my screen and show it to you again. So let me actually open the other project. So your project would look something like this, forked from a different version, right? So it would say forked from Sashrika core, GHW contributions. And so what you want to do is actually sync this, or basically make sure that it's all up to date. Either you can do it from your terminal, or you can just click this button, update this branch, make sure that everything is up to date. And so once everything is up to date, you do a git pull from your terminal, from your own version, and then that would update the files. And as soon as the files are updated, right now I created my version. I have Sasha car there, so I just use that. But what you can do is uh, like, push your code to your branch then, and then create a pull request to merge your branch, your new branch, to my master. Does that make sense? Okay, so do I merge my new branch to my main and push my branch? Okay, confusing. Hold on. All right. So let's say, like, right now, let's do it this way. This is Sashrika's version of code, and this is, let's say, Krunal's version of code. Cool. So Krunal here is basically, what they're trying to do is, on your local, what you want to do is you make sure that you're on your local machine, you have the latest version of code. There are changes here in Sashrika's version, correct? What you can do is either you can go to terminal and do it one by one, But what we'll do is we'll do it the simpler way. So you go to your repository on GitHub, the forked one, Krunal's version of code. In Krunal's version, you'll click on this button which says sync or fork, or it would say fetch upstream, something like that. It can be different. But whatever it says, you just click on that, which will update the branch, keep the branch up to date by syncing from upstream repository. So you want to actually sync it from Sashrika's version. So Krunal's version is now, as soon as you click this button, updated to Sashrika's version of code. All good? Everyone following here? All right, cool, awesome, great. Now, Sashrika's version of code had changes. Krunal's version of code did not have those changes. As soon as we click this button, both of these files get synced. Everyone following till here? Awesome, great. I'm no longer sharing my screen. Sorry about that. Let me see. Sorry, yes. So Sashrika's version of code had changes. Krunal's version of code didn't have those changes. As soon as you click this button, which says sync fork, or like would say fetch, it can be different, but basically it would help you to just update this branch up to date with the upstream repository. Upstream here in this case is Sashrika's repository. Cool. So Sashrika's version of code had changes. Krunal's version didn't. Krunal's version got updated as soon as you click this button. Now both your repositories on GitHub has up-to-date versions of code. On your terminal, what you want to do is you want to do a git pull from the origin, or you just do a git pull. It will resolve to the default settings, and then what it'll do, it's gonna pull Krunal's version of code to Krunal's machine. Does that make sense? Everyone following? Do a git pull right now together, and then follow along. So if I do a git pull myself, then it just tell me that things would be up to date, but I'm gonna do that for you. Let's share my screen again. So if I do a git pull, it wouldn't do much here, but for you, it will definitely pull a lot of things. So it says already up to date for me because my code is up to date. But for you, what you want to do is when you do a git pull, both those versions, once they are synced, it'll pull up to date version. Great. Yes. So once, when you do a sync before, you can also pull from the upstream to answer your question, Muneeb. That will directly pull it from the upstream, or you can do like a git fetch upstream, or whatever works for you. But to make things easier, let's do it this way. Sync your profile and then do a pull, because both the versions online would be synced, and when you do a git pull, then it will pull it from your version of code. So yes, question. What's the difference between git pull and git pull origin? It's actually, so git pull resolves to the default values, which is your origin, which is your project, Krunal's project, not Sashrika's one. Sashrika is upstream. So it'll pretty much do the same thing here in this case. Cool, awesome. So as soon as you do a git pull, Sashrika core is now in your code, right? That's written. Sashrika core is mentioned in your code. Now you add your, you can resolve those commits, add your name, and then send an updated version by doing the same steps. Do a git push again, and then raise a pull request. And as soon as I keep merging pull requests, then it might give you more conflicts later on, but that's how you just do a resolution in that case. Make sense? What command did I mention for syncing using terminal? Git fetch upstream. How does this open source project work? So now this is how you do things in real world open source projects. There are a lot of people working on the same file at the same time across the board. And so there would be changes that are made to the file as we speak, right? And so these are some things that we keep on doing, keep on resolving, and then keep on pushing our code. What is the problem without creating a pull request? Every once in a while, sorry, I didn't get a question. What is the problem without syncing and create? Okay, so if you don't sync and you create a pull request, when you try to create a pull request, it'll tell you that there are conflicts, that that there is a conflict in creating those files. So let me show you something which can give you an example of what that could look like. All right, let's see. First contribution, and then we move on to pull requests, and then new branch. So let's say Devika. So Devika, it says for you that this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. The reason being, now Sashrika core is already added on the same place as you are trying to add your name. And so if I see your file, um, so you have added my GitHub username and then you've added your username. In this position, that where you're trying to add your username, Sashrika core is written. So what your PR does is actually tells you that this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. And so how you resolve those is the things that I told you about. So you do a git pull. After syncing it, you do a git pull, and then you actually add your, like, basically update your file and then push it back again. Does that answer your question, Sonia? All right. So meanwhile, I think no, a lot of people are resolving their comments. So I'm just gonna give you an example of what happens on this side when you're creating a, like, after you've created a pull request, and let's say I have all of these requests coming to me, and so what I want is I'm going to submit one on this live stream, and then I'm going to, don't worry, I'm going to submit all of your pull request into this file once you resolve your like conflicts, and I'm going to keep doing that. But for the sake of time and for the sake of the session, what we'll do is I'm going to use like one or two as examples to put that in. So let me see one which has resolved their conflicts by now, and then I'm going to put that in. So all right, let me just refresh this one more time, and I can see there's one that's open now by Samir. So let's open that. So Samir, and it says that this branch has no conflicts with the base branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to quickly submit this file. I'm just going to go to commits. I'm going to see, okay, Samir has changed has made some changes, and there are 3 comments. I'm just going to use the last version and see what the changes are. So it says, this is my first open source contribution, author, and then what? So they've added a Python file. So that's what they want to do. And then the other file that they've added is a username, okay. And then the next thing that they've added is, so we made a lot of changes. The merge was that, okay, so that's a branch change. So all right. So Samir, for the sake of clarity, I'm gonna submit someone else's PR here because you're also trying to add another file, and that's something that, like, I can, like, going back and forth. But basically, what I'm trying to do is just keep it simple for everyone so that people can make, like, very small changes. So I'm just gonna pick another one, but I'm gonna come back to you um on files. Okay, so again, just for the sake of simplicity and for basically just to make sure our beginners get that what we were trying to do was only update the contributor, and that's why I'm trying to look for commits where there's only one file updated, where you just add your maid to the readme. There's nothing wrong with what Samir did. I'm just gonna come back to it later. For now, we're just gonna focus on. So this might have conflicts as well. So Akash's PR would have merge. Oh, no conflicts with the branch. I think it's updated. Let's see the updated version then. Great, awesome. Okay, so merge conflicts resolved. Now Akash resolved the merge conflicts, which means that everything is fine and I can actually go ahead. So if I had any comments, I'm going to put those comments here, but I don't have those comments. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to merge the pull request. So if I click on confirm merge, then Akash's pull request is just merged into my master. So now for a lot of people, that code would be changed again. So Akash's username is here, and then my name is here as well. So that's when the master branch is updated. Now for folks who have not updated that master branch, you again have to do like a git pull and just sync it versions and then resolve conflicts and then go on. But you can do that. But yeah, basically we'll do this offline. Let me just come back to the screen to see if there's something. Okay, awesome. All right, coming back to the screen. Awesome. Now that's how you create a pull request, and that's how you can resolve merge conflicts, and that's how you can, like, work through code. Again, this particular exercise did involve resolving a lot of merge conflicts. I get that. It depends on, like, like me submitting those PRs and then you keeping things up to date. And so it definitely means that. But this is actually a really good exercise that we used to, like, I used to do as well when I was a student and when I first started with open source. Reason being that this help you, this very good exercise to help you learn about branching, learn about git conflict, merge conflicts, you learn about how to create a PR, learn about creating your own project. So there are a lot of things that you can learn from this project, and it is definitely one way to just get started with making your first contributions to GitHub. So kudos to you, my friends. You all created a pull request, which is incredible. So I have 40 pull requests now that I need to review, and I will do that. But yeah, basically what I wanted to make sure was you all get and understand how easy it is to just make a contribution to GitHub, and that's it. So you actually, what when you created a pull request, you actually created a contribution on GitHub, and then I also showed, like, you also saw how I merged Akash's contribution to the code. So Akash's contribution from new branch is now merged into my master branch, right? Awesome, awesome. Yes, yes. Don't worry, I will review all of these offline. But yes, basically, what we wanted to do was make sure that all of these things are aligned. Now we will do some other discussions as well. The session is still not over yet. We'll talk a little more on how you can like do other stuff that I talked about here. Like for example, what upstream means. We talked about that. But how do you add that upstream, or how do you do all of that stuff? Okay, good question. If too many people are making changes, then um, won't we have a lot of conflicts? And how would we resolve that? Good question. Now, let me show you how you can actually resolve those conflicts. So let me actually show you a quick version of it. So I'm gonna create a merge conflict myself. So right now, like I had Sashrika Kaur, so Sasha code, I had already pushed this online. So this code right now, my code, let's say, is not synced, right? I added I merged Akash's PR into my code, right? And so Akash's name is actually the first one, and then there's my name. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go up here and then update this and say that add your name. Let's just add like a fake name, all right? So let's add Lahaj. We're going to add Lahaj here. So I'm just going to do, what I'm going to do is, right now I am on my master branch, right? So let me also show you what happens when I try to merge with the master branch, right? So I'm just going to do a git commit. Don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Nothing bad is going to happen. So we just add Lahaj to the list. And I created a commit. Oh, sorry, I did not add the files. Oh, silly me. I add the files, dragged it, and then I just committed it. So now I've created another commit, and now I'm just going to push it to the origin my main file. So here I don't need to create a pull request. Now pushing this to the origin master actually means just bypassing everything directly. And since that's my project and I have owner rights, I can do that. But it's not a good practice. It definitely means that I'm going to create merge conflicts. I'm going to make changes. I'm going to do like all sorts of stuff, and then that's where all of my problems would rise. So this is something you should not do, but I'm just going to give you as an example here. So as soon as I do it, it says that it's failed to push some refs, and it was rejected because the remote contains work that you do not have, which means that my repository is way ahead and I don't have access to push to it anymore if I don't do a git pull. So it's giving me that error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a git pull so that all of those changes are back in my master branch. Oh, okay, so I have divergent. Oh, so it says that I need to merge my files, but it also gives me an example on how to merge it. Let's just merge it. Oh yeah, of course, I can do it clear on my terminal. All right, so what I did was I did a git pull. And so basically this is the error that it shows me. It says that I have divergent branches. I need to specify how to reconcile them, which makes sense because I created two branches and now I need to merge them before I actually pull it from my master. So let's do a git pull from my origin. And what I want to pull is master. So master should be fetched head, and then okay, let's do a git config pull rebase. All right, this is a new command that I have done rebase before, but I haven't seen a git config with a pull rebase true. Let me first go ahead and see what this means. Git config. So When I go up online, Stack Overflow is my friend here. It says that when I do this, has to reconcile your changes to the local upstream. Okay, all right. Makes sense. All right, let's see. Let's try it and see where it goes, right? Do git pull again, and then it auto merged. Now it gives me those merge changes, right? Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so this is something that you'd see as well, right? When you created, when you pulled your changes back to your local, you would see some issues like some merge conflicts that you need to resolve, and it gives you an option like to accept current change. Oops, I didn't mean to accept that, but yeah, accept current change, accept incoming change, accept other changes, blah, blah, blah. So what I can do here is I accept the incoming change, which says Akash and Sashrika, and then I'm going to add Lahaj here. So that's how I just resolved my mode conflict. And then let me do a git status. I do a git add, and then I do a git commit. Let me do a git log first. Let me see what we have here. Okay, we have initial commit, add Bahaj, which is the head, and this was my new branch. So my new branch is now merged. Cool, awesome. All right. Let me do a git status. This is modified. Now the changes, I can do another git commit that says updated Lahaj title. And now if I do a git push origin master, oh sorry, it should be able to help me do that. Voila. And if I come back here and if I refresh, there you go. There's Akash, Sashrika, and Lahaj added to the list. So that's how you resolve merge conflicts if those arise in your project, and that's how you do it. So that's what I was trying to explain, but I actually was like trying to help you get there. But right now, this is like a good example of how we can create it. I did all of this on master branch. Please don't do it. Please create your own branch and then do it the way that I talked about earlier. But yes, this is a good example. And now I see we have 50 requests, which is incredible. Now there are 50 things that I got to review, which is fine. Not complaining, but I'm super happy to see that 50 of you actually created a pull request and then made your first contributions to GitHub, got started with open source and got started with GitHub in general. Which command did I use for syncing? So for syncing, I can do a git fetch upstream. That's one thing I can do. If upstream is not set, then you can also set upstream. But let's say you don't want to do like any of those terminal things. You're new to this, you don't want to do any of it. There's a very easy way of doing it, which is if you go to your project, your folk project, your version of project, there is a button right above these commits that you see, which says sync fork or like sync, like fetch upstream. It would say something like this. For me, it says sync fork. It would probably be the same for you. And then there is a button for updating the branch. So if you update the branch, it'll update it for you. This one is 176 commits behind from upstream, so I have clearly not updated it for quite some time. But yes, it would be some commits behind you for you as well, and you can update it. Awesome. Let me come back here and then see if we have any more questions. Please show how to set up branch for folk. Okay, awesome. Yeah, of course. I can do that and help you out with it. Okay, let me do a git clear. Let's start with this. So if you want to set your upstream URL from your terminal, and if you want to like have a look at that. So what we want to do is if you do a git remote v, which means that it'll tell you what your remote versions or what your remote URLs are that are stored in your local machine. You can see that I only have origin here. Let's say I want to add an upstream URL as well. For me, my upstream URL would not exist because this is the main file. But for you, the upstream URL would be my project, right? So what I can do essentially is something like git remote, and this is just extra tidbits. Like, don't take this too seriously. This is not related in any way to making your contributions. This is just like additional Git things that you can, like, good to know things that you can learn about, and you can start like playing around with a few terminal commands as well. So when you do a git remote dash v, you can see that there's only origin here. So what we can do additionally is we can add upstream and then add the URL here. And now I'm gonna not gonna run this command. I can. It will not do anything. It'll just add my URL again as origin and as upstream. But you do a git remote add upstream and then add that same link that is there for like uh, add the same link for origin here as me. But for you, it would mean my link, right? I think I confused you a bit. Hold on. So basically, Sashrika's GitHub repository link, Sashrika's Git file link is what you want to add to upstream. Cool. And then when you do that, it'll just add it to the upstream. The next thing you want to do is do a git fetch upstream. Now this is me just breaking down all of those commands. We can do like one git pull, like we can do like run it like once, if you want, git pull upstream to main. That's all you need to do. But if you want to break it down into different commands and know what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening is you do a git fetch upstream, which fetches all of those changes, and then you rebase that upstream's master back to the head, and then you push the origin master. So basically, what it does is fetches the upstream to the local, rebases it to the master, and then pushes it back to your version of code. That's what we're doing when we click sync or we do a git pull upstream from main. Sounds good? I can like show you some of these commands, but it's just gonna like look messy and then more confusing. But what I wanted to do was give you like some tips. How do you set up the upstream branch again? Good question. So how do you set up it? What you want to do is you want to do a git remote that if you do a dash v, you can see what all it's set. So basically we name it upstream and then you just paste your link here. So for me it would look like something like this, and I think for you also it would look the same. So github.com slash sashrika core and then slash GHW etc dot git. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Love it, love it, love to see it. And with that, this was like a fun, cool session, I hope, where you could like make your own GitHub contribution. We can talk about some tidbits, and I can also give you like some of the resources that I used to make my first pull request, but I mostly use GitHub Docs because they are quite handy. And I think that's something that you can use as well. Let me come back to the screen and see if we have any more questions and where we can resolve some issues while we are at it. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for this awesome session. You're welcome. I hope you all had a great time. If that's so, just post that in the comment section. Would love to hear from you. If you're able to completely send a pull request, then kudos to you, my friend. You did it well, and you already made changes to code base on open source. Congratulations on making your first GitHub contribution. I am so proud of you. I'm glad that it was really fun, and I can see some comments on that it was great. um Lost, I want you asked if there is a guide for you to read. Of course, yes, you can go to, I actually there are so many guides online. I'm not sure which one to name because there are so many great versions, but you can always create your pull request, like use GitHub Docs or I think read some blogs. I think I have one which says make your first contribution on GitHub. Let me share that link with you, which is an incredible version and which is what I used. Okay, yes. So there's this wonderful link by FreeCodeCamp that you can have a look at if you want, that you can make your first contribution to open source. I think you already did make a first contribution to open source, but yes, if you still need more confidence and you want to refer and have notes and think this is a great, you know, first contributions page, but it has a lot of information, so don't get too overwhelmed. If you read it carefully, it'll be everything that we covered in this session. In fact, we covered a lot more in this session, honestly. Okay, no worries. Okay. All right, so pull most request. Don't worry, I will review all of those changes and then basically push the request that I can, but there would be a lot of merge conflicts. So this is something that you can definitely like have a look. But basically, the main goal of the session for you to create a pull request, and then basically I can show you how we can merge those pull requests, resolve merge conflicts, etc. I hope you get an understanding of what how it works behind the scenes and how it works when you're trying to create a pull request as well. And it's a little less overwhelming and daunting now, but I am glad that it was helpful for you all. Okay, all right. Let me just scroll up and see if you have any more questions. Can't see your name on README. Oh, that's so sad. That shouldn't be the case. All right. So I will try and get back to all of those PRs because there are 50 of those. Honestly, it's really really incredible to see that 50 of you made your first contributions today on GitHub, and I'm super super excited to see it all here for it. So I'm gonna merge it. Don't worry. But if you see any conflicts, just please make sure you can resolve them. Whenever you get time, and I can. I'll continue with it throughout the week. Don't worry. Okay. So any questions? Any more questions? All right. So people are sharing their Hacktoberfest projects if they want to contribute. Does MLH recommend some recommended repos to contribute? I'm not sure if there are any recommended repos, but there might be some good first issues floating around in Discord. So just keep an eye out for that. And I think the best thing would be just to attend some of these sessions, live streams, where you can actually find answers to all of these questions and also find some interesting first time issues to work on. Okay, made a PR, fixed merge conflicts. Great, great, Sam. Yes, I will get back to it and work on it. But yes, this is basically like an exercise for you to learn about merge conflicts and other things. So yes, don't take it seriously. But what I want you to do is, I'm glad that you made a contribution here, and so now I think you are absolutely ready. You know everything there is to know about making a contribution on open source. And so what you want to do is just go out there, look for a project that you would like to work on, search for some good first issues, and then try and resolve those with code. Just make sure that you keep it very simple. Like here we just added a name to a list, right? Make sure you find very simple projects where you can contribute straight up. And the reason I say that is, what you want to do is you want to get comfortable with using it. You want to get comfortable with resolving these conflicts. You want to get comfortable with doing things yourself. I think sometimes just by muscle memory, we actually do a lot of these things through Git commands that is difficult to explain. But if we like, it's not even something we think about when we're doing it. So get comfortable with Git so that it becomes like a muscle memory, and then from that on point onwards you can always increase complexity for your projects, and then continue to contribute to those. If you just pick up a project, let's say, which has like increasing technical competence, then at that point you will be much more worried about solving that project than about making a contribution. So start slow, pick easy, and then keep on moving forward. So every time one works on the project, he or she has to think first. That is actually a good practice. That's something that I always do, because syncing that project, if there are any conflicts that are already there, you can resolve those before doing any other work. So yes, that is definitely a good practice, and that's something that we do in these like big organizations also. So I work professionally as a software engineer for Google, and this is something that we do in practice as well. Whenever we start to work on a code, we do a quick sync just to make sure that all of our files are up to date, and then that's when we like basically point. If you remember, we talked about head, right? So the head points towards the top of the main branch, and then that's where we start to build our code. Okay, I'm getting an issue with access rights when I try to push. Where am I messing up? So the access right issue would be if you're trying to if you're trying to push directly to upstream. So I would recommend you fork the repository, create a clone from there, and then push your code. uh, Contributing empty in your repo. Can I use it for developer experience contribution on GitHub? That's a good question. But basically, so I have to like look into what the GitHub challenge is all about, because there are a lot of challenges running in Global Hack Week. But yeah, if you clear the eligibility rules, if that's something that you think that helps, you can definitely ask around in Discord, post a question, and somebody would be there to help you. Awesome, great. Right, coming back here. Let's see. Awesome. Thank you so much, folks, for joining in. I am super, super excited. We're 1 minute, 40 minutes into the session, and I think we have done an incredible job here in making our first contributions. There was a lot to learn and a lot to unpack, but we did it. We did it well, and there is still time for the next session. There's a there's an upcoming GeoGuessr mini event soon, which is just like a fun event for you to take a break from all that hacking and coding and just racking your brain up with a lot of knowledge. Just to take a break from all of that, you can play GeoGuessr like with us. We will have a fun session hosting soon, like fun sessions and fun technical sessions hosted soon after that. But yes, just go ahead, take a break, relax a bit. You made your first contributions. Congratulations to everyone who joined the stream and created their first PR. I'm super excited to see what you do with open source, and I'm glad that you were taking this journey with us at Global Hack Week. So, yes, thank you so much, and congratulations, kudos to you, friends. I will see you in the next stream. So, yeah, thank you so much.